Most British homes will continue to get flood insurance after a deal was struck between insurance and the government. The industry had threatened to stop offering flood protection unless ministers put more money into improving defences. The government has promised a long-term investment strategy and said it will ensure the planning system stops inappropriate development in at-risk areas. Sarah Campbell is in one of the areas badly affected, the town of Upton upon Severn, and this must be an enormous relief to people there, Sarah.
Absolutely it is. It's really only when you get here that you realise the scale of what happened in just 24 hours this time last year. If you just take a look at the river down here, the river was actually at a lower level than this on the Thursday, and then all the rains came, rain for something like 12 hours, and the river literally came up and it overtopped the level of these banners. So incredible, caused lots of damage, of course, in the area. Lots of people have spent much of this last year recovering from it. Graham Bunn, now you're the landlord of the King's Head, we can see behind us, and you only reopened it fully recently, which gives some idea of the scale of what happened.
Yes, we actually got the pub fully running again at the end of February, so it took us a good sort of 6 to 7 months to actually get there.
Give us some idea of the amount of damage and just what it's like for those who haven't experienced being flooded.
Well, we've been flooded before. We've been here since 2000, but everything sort of below waist height is just completely new in the pub. It was just completely ripped out. All the plaster had to come off the walls, all the bar fittings, all the furniture and tables and chairs all had to go. How
difficult has it been for you to get insurance in the past, and how important is it to have insurance? Which might sound a stupid question, but there was a real danger that insurance companies were going to say places like you won't be able to get it.
After the 2000 flood, we had a couple of years where we didn't have any insurance, which was really worrying. We do have insurance again now this year, but it does have a £25,000 excess and a cap of £100,000 per 12 months on it.
Is that feasible? I'm just trying to think. So you've got the £25,000 excess, £100,000 cap. How much do you think it cost to get the pub up and running last time? Well,
it really does depend a lot on when the flood happens. When it happened in summer, then the loss of earnings is huge because we are a seasonal pub here. But if we had a flood like we did last year, we wouldn't be here because that wouldn't cover it.
So even with insurance, you'd still be in a lot of trouble?
With those restrictions, we'll be in big trouble.
Thank you very much, Graham. Well, of course, the deal that's been struck is all relative to the flood level defences. The government has said it will pump more money to improve the flood defences and have a 25-year long-term strategy. Now, Tim Perry is the mayor here in Upton. You've been waiting a long time for your flood defences. So what do you make of today's news?
It's certainly good news, and I hope that it sort of stirs the government up to do something. As you said, we've been waiting probably since 2000 to get this done, when John Prescott came. And again, the Environment Agency has been working extremely hard here. They've got a great plan that could certainly save Upton and save people like Graham, you know, and easily done at the moment. They could work in with another system that's going on in the Upton Marina here, that's developing. And so I'm hoping it will just push them forward to keep moving on the plans they've already got.
Okay, Tim, well, we wait to see. We know that the government struck this deal. They said they're going to put money into, more money into improved flood defences, but we haven't actually had any figures yet to find out exactly how much that is. So we wait to see. Back to you.
Sarah, thanks very much indeed. Well, staying with the subject and joining us now is Andrew Teacher, who's the spokesperson for the British Property Federation, the trade body who represents commercial property developers. Andrew Teacher, thanks very much for your time this afternoon. Does this mean there is no excuse now for insurers not to pay up?
I think what it does mean is that the government has gone on the record and said it's actually going to work on a solution. But we haven't had any clear figures, and I think that's the point that Sarah made at the end of the report there, is that the government actually hasn't put its hand up and put a figure on what it's going to come up with. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to either we pay now or we suffer later.
So how many people do you think are stuck in this limbo then, as we heard Sarah's pub owner there, where they might get insurance 1 year, not another year? I mean, how many people does this affect across the country?
I mean, this affects a wide number of people. I mean, it's hard to put a figure on this because, you know, the flood that happened last year was a one-in-a-century occurrence. It was totally, it's the biggest natural disaster to have hit Britain. So, you know, one can only guess as, you know, the number of people that could be affected by this. But I think the key thing here is that we actually have the money to shore up the defences that we need.
And if that money comes in, will your insurers offer comprehensive insurance without caps of £100,000 or without excess pay-ups up front?
I mean, I don't represent the insurers, so I can't really speak on their behalf. But in terms of the companies represented by the British Property Federation, which are developers, investors and advisors, you know, the key thing for them is actually an assurance from the government that they're not going to be out of pocket. because obviously the statement of principles, which is basically the agreement between the ABI, the insurance body, and the government as to them providing insurance, that statement of principles is going to be renegotiated on an annual basis, and it's going to expire totally in 2013. And that promise basically resides around the government giving it the money that it needs.
Andrew Teacher, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now, at nearly 27 minutes past the hour, let's take you live to RAF